Baldurs Gate 3's success is the biggest surprise the gaming world has seen in a while, and proves that not copy-pasting the same formulas can lead to massive success. Or does it actually prove the opposite?
I look fantastic.
With a player peak of around 875,000, Baldurs Gate 3 takes spot number 9 in the ranking of Steam's biggest game releases, even the 4th spot in single-player games. But what makes this game so special? Near endless possibilities is what the game is known for. May it be the combat, different approaches to the tasks given, different story decisions and paths,
I owe you my thanks. Nature prevails.
I thought you were going to help! I thought...
or just random quality content.
What the hell are you doing?
All of this combined with a high degree of polishment surely is as rare as a Cyberpunk player that didn't encounter a bug on release. But most of this hasn't been known before the release, at least not by the bigger part of the gamers that ended up playing the game on the first week. Except for a particular bear scene, the game hasn't gone much viral at all before its release, which is mainly because Larian Studios, the developer of Baldurs Gate 3, don't have much of a marketing budget. So why is it then that it exploded the way it did? It's the same simple reason why all of the recent game success stories came together. Habits. People are creatures of habit and always have been. You see, all of the unique selling points of Baldur's Gate I mentioned earlier are nowhere near to be new. In fact, except for the setting and the story, the gameplay is almost identical to Larian Studios' previous game, Divinity Original Sin 2. And while you had all the nice things there as well, except for bear sex, Divinity peaked at around 94,000 players, which is a lot, but not comparable to 875,000. The main difference is the name. The original Baldur's Gate game is with 2.8 million sold copies by 2015, a force to be reckoned with, which means there's a huge amount of players who already have a positive impression of Baldur's Gate before the new game even comes out and are more likely to buy the next game. This goes also for every successful gaming hit of the last couple years. Elden Ring brought in the famous George R.R. Martin, who didn't actually did much to the game except for some background lore, but his name did wonders. Cyberpunk, who's the mental successor to Witcher 3, which gets appraised as the best RPG of all time. Hogwarts Legacy, because of... that one is obvious. Dancing socks. And all 59,237 versions of Skyrim because of Skyrim. Now there's some games which saw big success even without a known IP or marketing budget. To have a chance for this to happen, there's two requirements of which either one or both have to be met. A big content creator who promotes the game on his own.
Got him. Nice. It's fucking massive. Okay, there we go.
Or it has to be a cheap, competitive online game that attracts a younger audience. Young gamers are not as set in their favorite games yet and are more open to new ways in which they can prove themselves online for glory, egos, and the validation they are missing from their parents. But if you can't do away miracles like Fortnite, the best way for a game to go viral is presenting another entry of an IP that 30-plus-year-old gamer dads have an emotional connection to, since that's where the big money lies. Let's take Steve for example. Steve works 40 hours a week, has 2 kids and a wife which take up most of his free time. Now Steve gets an hour for himself to game a bit. Finding games that fit exactly his needs would take at least an hour of research, which would leave no room for the actual gaming part. Instead, Steve remembers that he saw an ad of the new Assassin's Creed game that came out 2 weeks ago. And Steve really loved playing Assassin's Creed 2 back then, so it should be fun as well, right? Steve proceeds to spend his hour actually gaming and is a happy little dad. What this comes down to is that people rather invest their time into something they already have an emotional connection to than trying out something new. That's why we have friends and don't spend time with strangers every day. That's why we are not interested when we hear about Divinity Original Sin, but about Baldurs Gate, which we played 20 years ago when times were much simpler. Now don't get me wrong here, I absolutely love Baldurs Gate 3. There's a reason it has the highest player retention out of all Steam single-player games ever. It's an incredibly well-designed game that can entertain and surprise you through a whole 100+ hour playthrough. Like me, when I used animal speaking on my character to talk to a cow who told me about a secret stash in their hay.
Sometimes I eat the shiny bits, and they have to go looking for them on the other end.
Or when I killed an uber mighty boss by pumping my barbarian into oblivion, only for an achievement to tell me that you can two-shot him with the environment. But a huge amount of people that ended up loving it would have never tried it if the name wasn't Baldur's Gate 3, but Divinity 3. Or even worse, something completely new, like Bears Gone Wild. Now the big question, why is that even important? Because a creative vision and commitment deserve at least a chance. Without people giving unknown IPs a chance, some of the greatest games wouldn't exist. Dark Souls back in 2011 enabled us Bloodborne, Sekiro and Elden Ring. Then there's the Remnant series, Hollow Knight, Terraria, Stardew Valley, Valheim and many more. For innovation and progress in the gaming industry having a chance to happen, we as a consumer have to actually consume the content. So when you next time see a video or an article of a game IP you never heard of, try to at least give the gameplay a quick glance.